And we're back. For those of you that were super attentive, you might have noticed, and I just realized this, that actually there's a little bit more we could have done with the master sketch. One of these pieces, P or T, I'm not going to say which, actually has to be placed in one space. So actually, if you look back over the original master sketch, you really are only dealing with one piece that you have some freedom to move around. But it's not relevant for answering these questions, but I just felt like I needed to point that out. So yes, I did goof a little bit. I wasn't complete with my analysis. But anyway, let's look at some of these questions here. With this mapped out the way that it is, we shouldn't have too much trouble answering these questions. And I know I keep hammering on this, but it's very important. This is why it is so important to dedicate time and practice in developing your sketch skills, right? The ability to find your rules and then write them down like this, because it saves you so much time on answering the questions. I think you'll find as we go through these that it really shouldn't take us too terribly long. So let's look at this. Number 8. Which one of the following is a complete? Now this is a key phrase here. This can be a little bit confusing. A complete and accurate list of the professors who could have been hired in these years right here. Well, what complete means is that not necessarily just the bare minimum. We know from these years through 901, right, 89, 90, 91, we have N and O and R in there. So that looks like our answer would just be A, right? N-O-R. There we are. Done. But it was saying complete. Could we put any of these other pieces in there? Can we put P or T in there? Let's take a look at this. Well, first thing that we can do is we definitely know that S and M have to be in 92 and 93. So anything with an S or an M in it, that's out. So it looks like we can eliminate right off the bat. B has S, so does D, and so does E. So we're really at this point now, it's either N-O-R or N-O-R plus a P. Can we put P in there? Well, if we look at these rules, there's nothing that says we can't, right? P can't go here, 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 these spaces, but it doesn't say anything about spaces 2 through 9 according to our rules. So yeah, it certainly is possible we could do that. We could put P either here, or well, no, we can't put P. It has to come after. Oh, I did forget that. We have to, sorry about that. That's another thing. We have to put P and S after N. So we are allowed to put P either here or there, but that'd be fine. That would fit our list. So that's going to have to be our answer. We could put a P in there, so therefore C is the correct answer. All right, number 9. If exactly one professor was hired in 1991, right here, R, then which of the following could be true? Let's look at this. So let's make this sketch for a moment. So we know that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, actually, no, I don't really need to. We can just look at this. So what it's basically stating is that we cannot put anything P or T. Remember, those are the only pieces we have left. We can't put P or T in here. So if that's true, where could we put P or T? Looks like, well, let's see. Let's see, which of the following could be true? Let's start with A. We'll work our way down. M and P share a specialty. So remember, translation, what that means is they have to be at least 2 spaces apart. Now, this question is asking for what could be true. So if we can make that work, if we can place P 2 spaces away from M, then this is going to be our correct answer. See if we can do that. So let's see. I can't put P here in 4, and I can't put P here in 5. So that part is out. In order for them to share a specialty, they have to be at least 2 spaces away. So I can't put it here. Can't put it here. I'm not allowed to put it here because we said in the condition here that 91 it was just R in there. So really it boils down to, can I put it in either 89 or 90? I can't put it in 89 because P has to be at least 1 year after N, but I certainly can put it in year 90, so that is possible, and we're done. Very importantly, everybody, if you've made an accurate map, once you get an answer that works, you're done. You don't have to go through all the remaining options. I mean, if anybody's interested, you can let me know, and I can work out why those do not work, but we're done with A. So let's look at 10. Which one of the following must be false? Okay, so we're looking for an absolute. Something that can't, that when it must be false means translation is it breaks our rules. It's going to have to violate something that we have in our sketch. Let's see. A. N was in 89. Well, no, that doesn't break our rules, so that's out. Because he or she was in fact hired in 89. P was in 90. Well, okay, we have O there, but it doesn't break a rule to put P here. So that's possible. We need something that must be false. So that's out. P was hired in 91. Well, we could put P there. There's no rule that says we can't, so that's out. S was in 92. Well, that's true, so that's out because that's not false. So by process of elimination, we have to be E. But just look at it for a minute. T was hired in 94. Well, look at our column 94. We explicitly stated can't put T in there. That has to be false. That would break a rule. So there's our answer. Answer is E. 11. Which one of the following must be true? Okay, so remember the wrong answer is going to be something that breaks our rules. So the wrong answer would be something that violates the rules. Let's see. O was hired before P. Does that break our rules? Is that something that has to be true before P? No, not necessarily, because I could put P here in the same year. O and P could be in the same year, so that's not true. Doesn't have to be true, put it that way. P was hired before S. Well, so in order to validate that, we could see, could we put P and S in the same year? Well, nothing says we can't, so that's out. S was hired before R. We have R here, S was hired before R. Well, that's certainly not true because it's actually the other way around. That's off. R was hired before S. We know that has to be true because remember these letters, I was going to say numbers. These letters on the top, these pieces, these have to go in that order. So R did in fact have to be hired before S. So there's our correct answer. Okay, let's see, we've got a couple more. Number 12, it says, if exactly 2 professors were hired in 92, then which of the following could be true? Let's check this. So if we have exactly 2 in 92, what that means is, look at this. Remember, we only have 2 pieces left to play with, just P and T. And it says right here, we can't put T in with this rule. So that means we have to put P here in order for that. If we have exactly 2 professors hired in that year, the other one has to be P. So let's see. Which of the following could be possibly true? O, P, and T share a specialty. Remember, translation, what that means is they have to at least be 2 spaces apart, right? So let's see. O and P could share a specialty because they are 2 spaces apart. Could we put T, because remember, we're looking for what could be true. Could we put T 2 spaces away from both O and S? Well, let's see. That would mean we'd have to put T either here on 4 or on 5. I can't put T on 4, right? But I could put it on 5, and that would mean we were at least 2 spaces away between O, P, and T. So there's our answer. That is correct. That could be true. We're done. Last question. If P and M have a specialty in common, again, meaning that they have to be spaced at least 2 apart, then which of the following must be true? Okay. So if P and M have a specialty in common, what that means is where would we put P? So let's ignore this for a minute. Where could we place P? If they have a specialty in common, that has to be at least 2 jumps away from M. I'm not allowed to put it here and here according to our master sketch, so that have to be minimum. Yeah, I could put P over here or over here in order for it to have a specialty in common with M. So I'm going to just put P could go, according to this scenario, P can go either here or there. All right? Which of the following has to be true? N does not share a specialty with P. That's not necessarily true. It would be true if P is placed in year 0, because then they're right next to each other, and that would violate it. But if I put P over here with R, then they're at least 2 spaces away, so that we don't know that has to be true. So that's out. Where's my pen? Okay. B. Exactly 1 professor was hired in 90. Again, not necessarily true, because it could be if I put P in 91, but I could put P over here, so that's not an absolute necessity. That's out. That is wrong. Exactly 1 professor was hired in 91. Same reason. That's out too, because we know P can go either in 90 or 91, so that's out. Exactly 2 professors were hired in each of 2 years. Is that true? Doesn't look like that has to be true, because if I put P anywhere, it's going to double up with somebody, so there'll be 2 professors hired. But what about where I place T? Is T going to double up with anybody? Doesn't look like it. Doesn't have to be the case. I could put T over here, right, in 5. That would be allowed, and then it would only be 1 year in which there were 2 professors hired. So that's not true. So, process of elimination, it's got to be E. But let's look at this. P was hired at least 1 year before S. Yeah, For sure, that has to be true, right? Because we can't put P over here. The rule was, according to the schematic, we had to put P either with 0 or 1, and that both of those spaces are at least 1 behind S. So that's it. That is the complete answer set for these questions. Hopefully this was helpful. Yeah. Let me know if there's anything further that I can be of assistance with.